Dear viewers, I am sure you have all heard the saying, "From humble beginnings come great things." This quote has been proven time and time again. So now we see the saying proven then again. In a small, humble village called Ulundi lived two very good best friends, Zola and Amina. The two cared for each other dearly. In fact, they were neighbors. They did everything together. And as teens, Amina had a colossal crush on Zola. Zola was a very handsome man. His face and body were a pleasing potion of perfection, well built for the magazines. Whenever their other childhood friends said something about Amina's crush, Zola brushed it off as a silly joke. The two best friends grew up and joined university. Amina went to law school and Zola went to the Ulundi School of Computing and Technology. The two still kept in touch, and their friendship grew. One day, on Zola's visits to Amina's school, he bumps into Thandi, a soon-to-be graduate of the Ulundi School of Law. She was the most beautiful girl he had ever seen. Her fair-skinned and body figure were that of a supermodel. She dressed so elegantly, though still modest. She would walk on campus, and all the boys would fail to look away. Her beauty was refreshing and enchanting. Zola, like all the other boys, could not resist. He fell in love with Thandi on first sight. Thandi came from a very wealthy home. She was an only child, and her parents, they loved her dearly and gave her everything. Thandi lacked for nothing. She was a very brilliant young woman, top of her class. All the teachers praised her brilliance. Over the months, Zola continued to visit Amina's school with a hidden agenda. In disguise of catching up with his best friend, he came only to see Thandi. Zola pursued Thandi relentlessly, rejected time and time again until he finally got his shot with her. And soon after graduation, the two were engaged to be married. They both got jobs in very good employment agencies with the help of Thandi's powerful parents. In a few months, the two were happily married. They bought their first house, filled it with love and happiness. However, their honeymoon phase didn't last long. A true test of love and endurance hit this young, gorgeous couple. Fast forward. Did you even bother applying to anything today? Or are you just going to keep wasting time? Thandi says, coldly. I've been looking all day, Thandi. It's not like jobs are falling from the sky. Zola responds, softly but defensive. Thandi responds sarcastically. Oh, really? Because I just came home from my job. You know, the thing that actually pays all the bills. Meanwhile, you're still here on the couch, reading the same paper from yesterday. I'm doing the best I can. Zola says, hurt in a low voice. Your best isn't enough. I didn't sign up to be the only adult in this marriage. Thandi says with a high voice, crossing her arms. The tension in the room is thick. Thandi glares at Zola before storming out, leaving him alone. He sighs, rubbing his temples, sinking deeper into the couch. One day, Zola gets an invite from Amina to catch up with her oldest friend over coffee. At the coffee shop, it is warm and inviting, contrasting with the heaviness Zola carries. Amina looks at him with concern as she sips her coffee. I know it's hard right now, Zola, but you can't give up. You've always been resilient, and that hasn't changed. I know you. Amina starts to speak genteelly. Zola, sighing, it's just every day feels the same. I'm constantly reminded of what I can't do. Thandi's getting colder. It's like I'm nothing more than a burden. You're not a burden. You're a good person, Zola. You'll find something soon. Just keep going. You've always been the guy who never gave up, remember? Amina says empathetically, with genuine concern in her eyes. You always know what to say, dear friend. Zola, with a faint smile, responds, that's what best friends are for. Amina, smiling back but with a hidden sadness. They share a brief, comforting silence. Amina's words seem to revive some of Zola's spirit. He straightens up a little, as if remembering his worth. One day, Thandi invites 4 of her single work friends over. Zola is sitting on the couch again, this time with his laptop open, actively searching for jobs. Thandi enters, looking exhausted from work. She glances at him with a mix of disdain and pity. Still nothing? Thandi snaps at him. I've applied to several positions, just waiting to hear back. Zola calmly responds, waiting. That's all you do. Wait. Meanwhile, I'm out there actually making things happen. Thandi responds, rolling her eyes. Zola looks at her, his patience wearing thin. He gets up with his laptop and moves to another room, leaving his wife in the living room after she very rudely embarrassed him in the presence of her friends. Just as he walks out of the room, one of Thandi's friends speaks softly but audibly. If I were you, Thandi dear, I would leave that useless man. The other girls laugh hard at the comment. Thandi smiles but clearly affected by her comment. The girls enjoy their evening with wine and snacks. The evening is long. It soon comes to an end, though very late. Later that night, Zola, firm and calmly, starts a conversation with his wife, putting his hurt feelings from earlier aside. He says, I know you're frustrated, Thandi, but I'm trying. I don't want to feel this way either. Trying? You've been trying for months. Maybe I should have married someone with ambition instead of whatever this is. Thandi sarcastically responds. Her words cut deep. Zola stands, his face now hard with resolve. I didn't marry you to be your punching bag, Thandi. Zola says quietly with control. Then maybe you should start acting like a man. Thandi says challengingly. They stand in silence, the distance between them now an emotional canyon. The next few days flew by fast. Zola is called for an interview where he turns out to be the most suitable person for the job. Zola excitedly stands in a professional office, wearing a suit, looking very handsome. He speaks to a hiring manager, who shakes his hand with a smile. Congratulations, Mr. Zola. We're excited to have you on board. Zola's face lights up for the first time in a long time. He leaves the office, pulling out his phone to text Amina. I got the job. I'm starting next week. Zola texts Amina. He stops before texting Thandi. His expression changes, conflicted but determined. On the other hand, Thandi is at her parents' house visiting. Leave that man already. How many times will I tell you this, my daughter? You deserve better. Your father and I know very many young, suitable and very rich men who are from good and wealthy families. Please learn a thing from your parents. You should be taken care of, not the other way around. You will have no need to work. He is a burden to you. Thandi's mom says, angry and worriedly. But Mom, I still love him. Maybe he will change. Thandi says with sadness in her voice. No, don't be naive. We are getting you a better and much suited partner. Her mom responds with an upset tone. Thandi's dad just agrees with his wife blindly, nodding his head. Back in Thandi's and Zola's home, Thandi is sitting on the couch, scrolling through her phone when Zola enters. He stands by the doorway for a moment, watching her before speaking. I got the job, Thandi. Zola says calmly with a hint of excitement in his voice. Good for you. Thandi speaks without a care as she barely looks up from her phone. Zola waits for more, but nothing comes. He steps forward, his voice more serious. This should be good news, but it doesn't feel that way anymore. Zola firmly speaks. Thandi finally looks at him, confused. I've worked so hard to get here, but it's clear that no matter what I do, it's never going to be enough for you. Zola continuing to speak. What are you saying? Thandi responds in a shocked tone. I'm saying I'm done. I'm done feeling like I'm less than because I had a rough patch. I'm done being the one you look down on. Zola says with resolute. Thandi's face hardens. Her body stiffens. You're really going to walk out now that you finally have something to offer? Thandi responds with her voice breaking, I'm walking out because I finally realize my worth. Zola responds quietly but firmly. Zola turns and walks toward the door, leaving Thandi speechless. Many months pass. Zola and Amina sit together on a park bench. The sun is shining, a soft breeze rustling the trees. There's a lightness to their conversation, a sense of peace and comfort between them. You look different, happier. Amina smilingly says, I feel different. I'm finally moving forward, Amina. And I couldn't have done it without you. Zola responds, smiling back. He takes her hand, their fingers intertwining. Amina's eyes soften as they look at each other, realizing something they've both felt for a long time. I'm ready to start again. With you. Zola says sincerely. Amina smiles warmly, leaning in as they embrace the new chapter of their lives. Amina and Zola's innocent and humble love story won. They lived happily ever after. Moral of the story: the value of a relationship lies in mutual respect and understanding, not in material success or power. Sometimes love means letting go of those who make you feel less than, and finding strength in those who uplift and support you. We hope you enjoyed the tale as much as we enjoyed sharing. Please, don't forget to subscribe. I greatly need and appreciate your support towards our growth. Like, comment, share and subscribe. Until the next share, please stay safe and kind.